say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous line o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the
Grace and peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman as we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. Happy Tuesday, you guys. I am sorry that I didn't come and do a live stream last night. I was busy. I was on another podcast. I had a little guest appearance on He is Blanchard. I think, don't give me the line, Blanche, if that's not the name of your channel, I'm sorry. But I was over there last night with oh, it was quite the interesting character. I was on there with my homegirl, Crystal, Red Pill Brown Girl. Shout out to you. And Tommy Sotomayor. Okay. Now, if you don't know who the great, we'll call him the great Tommy Sotomayor is, but he's absolutely infamous. And he's quite the character. And so I don't want to talk too much about that, but that's why I didn't go live last night. And I am live today. So welcome to everyone in the live chat. Oh, y'all quiet. Y'all quiet tonight. Y'all ain't said nothing. No, hey dog, how you doing? Give me 5. God bless you. Y'all ain't saying nothing. So shout out to Brother Dion. Thank you for starting and kicking off our live chat tonight. And shout out to B-Shop and Mari. I think that's Mari. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Let's just get some housekeeping things out the way because I don't want to waste too much time because I have a lot to say tonight. First, let's go ahead and like this video. Okay, get the likes up. Let's get some engagement going. This is a very important topic that needs to be discussed. It is happening right in my backyard. As y'all know, I am from New York, but I've lived in Atlanta. It'll be 30 years next year. And I was grown when I got here. So y'all do the math, okay? But we need to discuss the advent of a highly controversial political figure that has managed to wiggle her way into local politics here in Metro Atlanta, Fulton County to be specific. And I have a lot of thoughts. So I did a video earlier today. I dropped the video and it wasn't very long. Y'all know if I do an 18-minute video, that's short for me, okay? And I released my video, and it was kind of a cursory overview of why I got a lot of questions and why I think Fulton County needs to be very careful and leery of their newest candidate that has filed to run for Fulton County Commission. And so I said, you know what? I ain't done. I'm not finished. I got a little bit more in me that I need to get out because my goal has always been with this platform, obviously, to be a voice of truth, the first thing. But the second thing was I want to share my worldview. I want people to understand that I am a conservative by Christian conviction, meaning that's the worldview that supports and undergirds the reason why I vote the way I do. So my politics aren't really political. My politics are theological for me. And so because of that, I since maybe 2016, maybe actually I've been conservative officially since 2014 and voted politically for my first GOP candidate was 2016. And believe it or not, it wasn't Donald Trump. That goes to show you the evolution of my worldview and how in its infant stages, I was uninformed and I understood why I was conservative, but I couldn't see the big picture and I didn't take Donald Trump, the candidate, serious. Never hated Donald Trump, but I just didn't take him serious as a political candidate. He's always been in my top 5 of entrepreneurs to admire, but I never put him in the political category. So I say all that to say that when someone decides to jump from one political party to the other, particularly if you abandon Democrats and you come over here, we're just going to celebrate for the sake of celebration's sake because being a Democrat in 2026 means you are absolutely supporting an anti-God, anti-Christian worldview, and you should jump ship. But this video tonight, today, or however when you watch it, is deeper. I have to dig a little deeper because the concerns that I have for this sudden jump from Democrat to Republican right here in my hometown has more to do with ideology, for one, and two, I'm not convinced that based on Tiffany Henyard's public words, I'm not even convinced that she understands what she's doing. To me, it is a gimmick. Now, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know this woman. I seen her in a glance from across the room one time. But this is my backyard. And I am gatekeeping because I have to live here. And so because I have to live here, even though I don't live in Fulton County, I got friends that live in Fulton County. So consider me as that girlfriend that when they see their friends in trouble, they pull up like, what's going on here? What's the problem? Y'all good? Everything good over here? And then when it's not, we come in and we got your back. So I've pulled 2 videos that I want to react to tonight and provide some commentary. And I am hoping that this will be the last video that I have to do on the issue. I'm not a bully. That's not what this is about. This is political for me. And it is also theological, but it's mainly political and social commentary for my audience that happens to be here in Metro Atlanta, to help you understand that just because you change from a D to a R that's not enough for me, and it shouldn't be enough for you. So, welcome to those who have just joined us in the live stream. Thank you so much. Shout out to Fulton County. Fulton County got a lot of problems, but it was the first county that I moved to when I moved to Atlanta. So I've had a Fulton County address before, 30314. Shout out to the West End. And it's always gonna have a near and dear place in my heart, right? Like, I lived in the West End. I was a student at Spelman College. Like, Atlanta, I was here in Atlanta when it was during the heyday. Okay, right after the Olympics, when if you had a dollar and a dream, you could come here and make something of yourself. We were entrepreneurs and we were ambitious. And if you were young and you were black, this was the place to be. Now, if you got a dollar and a scam, this is the place to be. You can come here, reinvent yourself, slither and slide on in. Nobody's going to vet. They may ask a couple of questions, but not enough. And then when the dust settles and we see, oh, what we saw was what we saw. Everybody standing back shocked and confused and surprised, like, how we let this happen to us? It's because you weren't paying attention. You weren't being vigilant. You weren't looking at the red flags and the signs that were like blinking right in your face. You chose to ignore it. So this first video, it is short. I'm going to use this as the foundation as to why I have major concerns. And just to get one thing out of the way, I have not nailed one political aspiration. I don't even live in Fulton County. I'm not eligible to vote, to run in office there or vote. But like I said, this my city, this my town. And as a influencer in the political space, particularly the conservative space, I have to say something about this. So, if you happen to know Tiffany and you are watching this, feel free to send it to her and tell her this is not personal. I'm not messy like that. I'm not. If I passed you on the street and you needed some help, I would help you. I just need you to understand that people have concerns and you've given us reason to. And the Black community, particularly Metro Atlanta, the Black community, I'm working way too hard to wake my people up and to have them to pay attention and to not fall for the okie doke for me to allow you to just come on in here and I not educate and transform and inform my people on the glaring issues that you've put out there for the world to consume. And there's always room for grace. There's always room for repentance. I just don't believe that's what this is. So let's take a look at this clip.
Is hoping for a comeback. I'm WGN-TV investigative reporter Ben Bradley. Henyard is attempting to resuscitate her political career 700 miles away in Atlanta, where she has apparently secured a spot on the ballot for district commissioner on the Fulton County board. For those of you who don't remember the long, strange saga of Tiffany Henyard's reign in the south suburbs, here's a quick refresher. She flew first class, wined and dined on the taxpayer dime. She had a questionable cancer charity. Corruption claims dogged her to the point the FBI served subpoenas. While she hasn't been charged with wrongdoing, she did not take it particularly well whenever anyone would question her.
Y'all are black, and y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dolton voters drummed her out of office early last year. 88% voted against her. She was a Democrat back then, and now she's running as a Republican. And because there's no competition in the primary, that clears the way for her to be on the general election ballot in November. We rang up a political science professor from Emory University in Atlanta. She said Henyard's bid is a long shot.
This is somebody who hasn't had much of a chance to establish roots, and she's going to be running against people who have far deeper roots in the community. And so that might actually end up being what is her undoing. It may not be because of her scandalous past, but it may be she hasn't lived long enough in this district.
Georgia election records show that Henyard registered to vote down there on February 27th, just 2 days after voters gave her the boot in Dolton. That means even if she's elected in Georgia, she may not meet the year residency requirement. Henyard did not respond to my request for comment, but that may be because she knew we were also calling about this. A judgment entered today by a Cook County court. A judge ordered Henyard and her boyfriend to pay their old landlord in Dolton $10,000. She's accused of stiffing the landlord on rent and causing property damage before they left town. For more of our reporting, go to WGN.
All right. So shout out to Black Anomaly Rising, you guys. That is a fellow content creator in this space. I met him at the Georgia Black Republican Masquerade Ball. And actually, my husband spotted Tiffany, and Black Anomaly Rising came over to me and he said the same thing. And he was so hopeful. He was like, well, people change. You got to give people a second chance. And I stood there. You know exactly how I looked at you. I was like, bless his heart. Him so precious. I'm just messing with you. But is that not what I said to you? That is what I said. So, he know I ain't lying. I wanted to engage with this clip to start off the show because the investigative reporter here brought up some glaring issues. First, we got to talk about the fiduciary issues that happened up in Dolton, Illinois. Hear me clearly. I know I got to give 1,511 disclaimers so y'all don't misrepresent my position. I am a Christian. I believe that we are saved by grace through faith, that what happens in your past is not a reflection of where you're going in the future. If you've been born from above, God has given you a new heart and you are a new creation in Christ Jesus. I believe that. There are a whole lot of people who I know that I'm like, such were some of you. But you were washed and you were cleansed. That's my story. That's my testimony. I got skeletons and baggage for days. And so the last thing I want to do is to drag someone else's sins from their past and use it to adjudicate their future. Let's get a category distinction and in place right now. That is not what this is. It's not. And if you accuse me of that, you're being disingenuous. And I'm not going to allow you to weaponize what I know to be biblically true. You're not going to use that to weaponize in this political discussion. That is different. We're talking about a political candidate who, in the very recent past, like super recent, exhibited a lot of fiduciary problems in how she governs in a township that was super small. Let's not forget that. On top of the fact that when the investigative reporter said that they attempted to have a discussion, she doesn't want to have a discussion about those things. And then when confronted while she was still in Illinois, we saw a lot of deflection. We got the race card. It's because I'm black and because I'm a black woman. And I'm like, see, the days of people, black women, us, weaponizing our ethnicity to shield ourselves from accountability, them days are over. Not as long as I got a platform. No, ma'am. We're not doing that. You know why? Because you've got to be held accountable. And if that means I got to be the one to do it, then so be it. We're not going to allow you. First of all, this melanin don't mean nothing to me. Okay? Because who I am in Christ Jesus is my primary identity. My identity is hidden in Christ. So I don't give a darn if you black, blue, green, purple. It's irrelevant to me. Don't bring your race into the discussion so you can shut down the conversation about your evil and wicked deeds. We're not doing that. Then we heard from an Emory professor who I'm trying to understand how she missed the plot. Maybe she wasn't really thinking through her response, but she said that Tiffany's issues are going to be more about her not having deeper roots in the community, more so than her scandalous past. And I'm like, she must be a Democrat, because only a Democrat would answer a question like that. Because basically, what she's saying, if she's a Democrat, and if she's not, I apologize, but it sounds like what she's saying, as a Democrat, we used to criminality, right? We used to them stealing, embezzling, doing all kinds of foolishness and getting away with it. Why? Because Democrats, the politicians, are masters looking for slaves, and Democrat voters are slaves looking for masters. So when master do something that is wrong, typical Democrat slaves be like, well, him didn't mean it. At least not that time. Now, the other 5 times he might have, but this time, we believe he not going to beat us no more. So when the Emory professor says, if scandal is passed and it's not going to really be the problem, it's because she's either saying that because she's a Democrat and she know how Democrats think, or she's saying it because she knows Democrats will vote a scammer, a criminal, a whole crackhead in the office. I mean, do we need to go through Marion Barry? Like, come on. Some of y'all might be too young to know who I'm talking about, but he's literally a crackhead, and they voted him back in office like more than once. But our issues have nothing to do with you being a newcomer here. People move all the time. No matter how many clarion calls we put out there and say, Atlanta, we full, they keep coming. Okay, so we're used to people moving and coming here and starting anew. It's obvious we can't shut it down and close the door and say it's us four and no more. Y'all gonna keep coming here anyway. Heck, I'm a transplant. I ain't even from here. Now, yes, I am trying to close the door after me because there's too many people here and you can't go nowhere without it taking an hour and a half. But that's not the point. I thought the Emory professor, her analysis was misguided. Yes, it is a scandalous past, at least for the conservative. For those of us who vote GOP or identify as conservatives, it's the scandalous past for us. We don't care that she's new. We care that she's a new crook, allegedly, on the scene. And we have questions about it because we watched this in real time. This is not what we heard, it's what we saw. And I'm sure Tiffany, to defend herself, will say, that's fake news. You can't always believe what you hear. Okay, well then clear the air for us. Clear it for us. I mean, was the spending not excessive? Did you not go to Las Vegas and ball out and make it rain on the taxpayer dime? They lying about that too? Oh, okay. So the last thing, and then I'm gonna move on. The investigative reporter brings up the back rent. Now, you just got here. To be fair, she could have left, and by now she could have made an arrangement for the back rent. We don't know. I'm trying not to make this personal, but because this is political, you owing 10 grand in back rent is a problem. If you can't manage get your own life together, you want to come and sit here on Fulton County Commission? No, ma'am. We ain't gonna be able to do it. So I have another clip that is the meat of what I want to talk about. And it's a clip from a local podcast interview. One of the very first things Tiffany did when she touched grass here, she went on the podcast circuit. I don't know if this is one of many interviews that she did on a podcast, but it's probably the most popular. Many of you may have seen it before, but I got to react to it. I have to react to it because this is going to explain the fundamental salient issue that I have with jumping from Democrat to Republican. And it's going to explain why I keep using the term EBT Republican. And so let's take a look at this clip.
Did win, and congratulations again. This is me saying it publicly to our new president of the United States. Just like Trump, I'm gonna come in on a landslide on both seats. Know that. Remember this moment when I landslide and come in for the victory, like I always do.
I'm sad. I want to change gears a little bit. Yeah. There's also been a growing conversation that, back to the Democratic Party we're talking about, that Black Republicans are more professionally and financially successful than Democrats, than Black Democrats. What's your thoughts? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I could see that. I think they are more structured, more strategic, and I think they move a little different because they listen.
What do you mean when you say they listen?
We over talk. Nobody can educate you because you think you know everything, and that's the problem that people have, and that's why we miss the message. And I think that's what's wrong with America now. We all want to be heard, but no one's pausing to listen. I think I'll say Trump just gave everybody 2,000. All
right. I'm sorry, you guys. I should have made that much bigger. My apologies. Yeah. No. This right here is a problem. And that is a cute outfit, though. I do like that outfit she's got on. So let me just focus, though, because if I see her shoes and them shoes look good, you already know how I'm a shoe fanatic. I love a girl with a good shoe on. Just this clip alone, in my assessment, the biggest problem here is that her answers have no ideological content to it. It's the first red flag that I noticed. None of her answers actually describe anything that remotely even sounds conservative, right? Like, so when asked why Black Republicans are more successful, she said they're more structured and they listen. And I can't remember if she said Black Republicans or just Republicans in general. And I listened to that and I was like, ma'am, that's not an ideological explanation. I don't really know what that means. And the host tried to follow up to get some clarity, like, what do you mean by they're more structured? She didn't really have an answer. Now, in the clip before that, she invoked the name of Donald Trump. And I was like, okay, we see you. But let me just speak on behalf of Trump. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but Trump about done with the Blacks who jump over to the GOP side and find their way and wiggle in to his purview. Like, he's tired. And the reason why I know he's tired, because he's been burned. What happens is the EBT Republican will jump ship from Democrat, all of a sudden be a bold and loud and proud MAGA supporter. And then they get on over there to Trump, and it's the same usual begging, whining, and crying, do stuff for us, give us free. And then when they don't get what they want, they turn on him and trash his name. They never show any gratitude for what he's done for them. And if I was Trump, I'd leave all of y'all alone. I'd be like, I'm good, no thanks. Y'all keep all y'all over there. And I know that sounds racist, but I'm just saying, what more do you want that man to do? He's been giving and helping Black folks for decades. And the only one that I've ever seen show some legitimate gratitude is Mike Tyson. He legitimately is like, listen, this dude that y'all keep trying to categorize and paint as a racist ain't been nothing but good to me. And he's good people. And the rest of these fake Black non-loyalty having individuals, opportunists, they ain't loyal, right? That's why I call them EBT Republicans. But anyway, we're going to get more into that. But a real conservative answer would have mentioned things like, well, Republicans really stress individual responsibility. Like, that's important to them. Individual free agency, right? Govern yourself. They're all about entrepreneurship and doing things to empower you to earn a living for yourself and to start or grow a business. They support free markets, right? They want to remove the artificial weights out of your way and limit governments so that you can flourish and fully function in your freedom. A Republican, ideologically, who is conservative, may have mentioned something about family stability. We want y'all to have babies and lots of them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth within the confines of a marriage, a heteronormative Nuclear family is important for the future stability of this country and for human flourishing in general. Conservative would have talked about property ownership. We need to get these interest rates down so people can own something. We don't want everybody just renting and having just a little piece of something. No, land and property, equity, the real kind of equity, not, we want what everybody else got. No, property ownership. She could have even talked about education and work ethic, right? Over here, we have a healthy doctrine of work. We believe in work. There's no shame over here in working, whether it's a trade or whether it's in healthcare, whatever it is that the Lord has equipped you to do it with all your might as heartily unto the Lord. That is the ideology that undergirds who we are over here. But instead, she gave some canned generic personality explanation, and I'm like, that was deficient for me. What is my point? Her answer reveals that she doesn't understand the philosophical differences between the parties. It's not just red and blue. They are not two sides of the same coin at its most basic fundamental level. And it's obvious that she doesn't understand that, or she didn't use this interview as an opportunity to help educate the audience. Her worldview ain't fleshed out yet. She hasn't exercised these muscles. She just doesn't. Notice what she didn't say. She didn't mention free markets. Like I said, limited government is what we do over here. Family structure, entrepreneurship. All she said was that Republicans are successful because they listen. Listen to who? What does that even mean? That's not a political philosophy. That's some vague self-help slogan. That's not helping nobody. And now I get it. Democrats are used to the shallow and the silly. Okay, they will come up with a slogan, throw it out there, and it'll stick. And it'll help them win elections. We got a little bit more depth over here. We're going to sit down and look at you and be like, okay, hope and change. What is that? Like change like in your pocket? Change like what? We're asking questions. We are side-eyeing you. You got to work a little bit harder over here to convince us that you about that life. And so I'm going to let it play and continue some more. But this is the foundation of where my argument is. And I believe it is a valid and substantive argument. And we would do better if we had more people who listen to the things that I listed out. And when they go into that voting booth, they're like, did this person even advocate for any of this? And if they can't articulate it with clarity and then show some sort of measurable results or record of doing those things, you don't get our vote. Donald Trump is in office because he had a proven track record of being a successful businessman, not a politician, but he exercised his political prowess by, when asked, he was able to articulate with much clarity geopolitical issues. We heard Donald Trump talk about Iran and what he would do back in the 80s. He was built for this. It just wasn't his time. And he always said, I would serve when the time is right and when I felt like I was left with no other choice. This country had got down so bad that this man's like, I don't need the money. I sure don't need the fame because, I'm Donald Trump. He said, if I don't do it, if I don't step up, this country going to hell in a handbasket. And he crazy and he a little ghetto and his mouth is off the chain. But no one can deny that man does not love this country. He absolutely does. And he was willing to risk his life because he's like, the country that I leave for my children and my grandchildren matter. And I got to step in and do something about it. See, that's a man that's living by a principled conviction that he would fight for. Why would you risk being shot twice? Have them almost put you in jail, try to bankrupt you, if you weren't doing this because you like, I really would die for this country and I believe in the idea of America, that's a man that's driven. And conservatives, we're conservatives not because it's popular, but because we are driven by something so much bigger than ourselves. I don't see that from her at all.
Well, did the $2,000 pass?
Yeah, I heard he did.
I heard it. I didn't hear too much
but
about it.
I haven't seen nothing yet to say, hey, look what he just did. But that's what everyone's stating.
Right.
But again, that's what I mean about research. But he got a lot of great ideas, but sometimes people got to just pause on the noise. Y'all distracting us with all this other nonsense that really don't matter to the people. What we care about is what are you doing for the people.
Right.
But you're distracting us with this file, that file, this case. Okay, what we
Release the
gonna do?
Epstein files.
Come on, all this time, like, please stop. But that's what they do though. It's a distraction until we wake up and see that it's a distraction to keep us from asking for important things like you just stated.
Right.
When we gonna do that?
I love it. Well said.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah, that's another one. So, yeah, I done worked myself into a sweat. Hold on. Y'all already know how it is over here. So this next question, for me, is when I realized that there is some political ineptness here in terms of her kind of just not knowing enough about the policies to be able to answer that question in a substantive way. So for example, she said that she said, I heard Trump gave $2,000. And I'm like, and I wasn't sure. I'm like, is she talking about during COVID or I don't know when she's talking about, but to me, this revealed that she does not even know the policy that she's referencing. I don't know if it was the $2,000 stimulus debate maybe that he was considering giving. I don't know if this was the COVID negotiations. I don't know. But Democrats, they love pushing large checks and give us free money. Like, am I supposed to jump up and down because I got $2,000 of my own money back? We're over here trying to debate fiscal spending and cut fraud, waste, and abuse. And to me, her answer was deeper than, oh, I just don't know the policy. Y'all, she's still a Democrat wanting free stuff. And when I say that is because conservatives or Republicans, whatever title you want to use, we don't look to the government to give us a check. Like, that's not a flex for us. We can be like, ooh, no, that ain't who we are. That's what I'm saying. There's a learning curve here. There's so much this woman needs to learn about. You can't just slap an R behind your name and think we just gonna be like, oh yeah, she one of us now. No. This why I call this an EBT Republican, you guys. No. We want the government to get the heck out of our way. Okay. She doesn't understand that though, because the worldview that undergirds what she believes is rooted in socialism and government control of the resources. See, you elect me, I'm the politician, and then I give you a little something here and there, but I control the money, right? This is how she ran Dolton. The taxpayer money was her personal piggy bank. Her spending was out of control on unnecessary things that did nothing to improve the condition of the residents in Dolton. And when I say improve the condition, I'm not talking about all the turkeys and the Thanksgiving meals and the skating ring. No, that's what Democrats do. They come around like a pimp every now and again. Come on, girl, go on, get you a new outfit. And expect you to be like, oh, thank you, Big Daddy. I never, I was hoping you was going to come give me a little something. No. For someone claiming to move toward the conservative side, or at least trying to play in the sandbox over here, she basically said, well, I had heard he did something like that. Not only is that a glaring lack of knowledge, but shows where a mindset is. I don't trust it. No, it's still over there. The mindset, that's Democrat plantation thinking. Over here, what is it that I always say, y'all? We function in our what? We function in our freedom. Okay, we earn our way and we hold people accountable. We don't want you to give us nothing. We want you to get the heck out of our way. Keep your paws off our guns. Leave our kids alone. Protect the sanctity of life and create an economic environment where we can thrive. We don't want nothing from you. Get out of our way. That's what we want. Remove the artificial weights. A policy here, a policy there. Yeah, I'm not saying we don't need a social safety net. Your mind, you can't even think right if you think that I am alleging or saying that we don't need some social welfare programs. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not for no government. I'm for limited government. I don't want my politicians, one, to think that they're a leader over me. You a public servant. You work for me. You do what I tell you to do. Right? Nor do I ever want a politician to believe that they need to give me something. If I hear you talk about what you gonna give me, I'm looking at you like you got me messed up. I don't know. Who you think you talking to? Give? Keep these roads paved. Keep this crime down. Legislate on our behalf and manage our money well. Let me educate my child how I see fit. Mind your business. Keep your hands off my guns. Did I say that already? Because I think I did. Because that's really important to me. Public safety is nice, but while Taquayshawn trying to break up in here, I don't have time to wait for 911 to get here. I need Taquayshawn to know on site, if you come in this house, you gonna leave in a body bag. And to do that, I need my Second Amendment right protected. Just saying. We can deal with the police when they come to figure out what happened. But before that, it is my responsibility to take care of me and mine. So if you're entering Republican politics, but you don't even understand major policy debates, that suggests to me just a little red flag, opportunism rather than conviction. We don't have time for opportunities. We need you to come over here with a conviction that I see it on your face. I hear it when you speak. That's what I'm looking for, and I ain't seeing it here. So, just saying.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah,
Miss
thank
Tiffany.
you. Same
Yes,
here.
let's certainly landed during a trying time in the world. There's been a lot of conversation lately about members of the Black community leaving the Democratic Party.
Ooh.
Yes, that's been the topic of the day on social media, like in the podcast world. Have you heard anything about that?
Oh yes, they talking, honey.
They are
They talking.
They are talking. What's your thoughts about that?
I'm really, really happy that people are entertaining the conversation. I really want people to educate themselves so they understand who does what, how it works, and what's the process.
Right.
Because everybody's pointing the finger at they did it, left, right, okay, whatever.
Right.
But no one's coming with facts. People just talking because they don't like someone. I want people this time around to actually go do your research. Then you can speak with facts and not fictional.
Well,
No. Let me
one
see.
thing that I've heard from a lot of people is that a lot of people are saying that people keep voting for Democrats or keep voting Democrat, but the Democrats aren't doing anything for the Black community.
That's true.
So
I lived it. That's true.
You lived it. You mean
I lived it because I am a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat. And if you go check my voting record, that's what I always pull, a Democrat ballot. And Democrats really need some help. And I'm here to say it proudly that a lot of them don't belong in the seats that they're in. Residents have to really research them and stop listening because they say they're a Democrat, don't mean they for you. Mm-hmm. They're normally for themselves. You have to really pay attention and change the narrative that we see right now.
right?
I see y'all in the chat. That's not vague at all. Yeah, okay. When I finish breaking it down, you'll see how vague it is. It is absolutely vague. The reason why I say this reeks of opportunism rather than conviction, one of the questions, she didn't mention that she's about to run as a Republican, but the conversation is starting to shift to discuss the ideological conversation that's on the forefront of everybody's mind right now, which is, word on the street is that a lot of Black folks are, they jumping ship from the Democrat Party and they're moving over here. And perhaps it's because she's not a winsome communicator. But I'm sharing my thoughts as to why I believe her answer was too generic and anemic. Okay? I felt like she was trying to play both sides of the fence and not really offend Democrats, and yet she wasn't thoroughly committed to convincing Republicans either. The answer was more on the side of pandering for me. And that was the main concern that I had. The main concern that I had with it. Not just that though. I'm gonna let her play. We're gonna play it some more because she's gonna talk a little bit more about her problem with Democrats. She mentioned that just because they have a D behind their name, they're not for you. But something that the host said that made me, I wanted to start tweaking a little bit because it there's a learning curve here. She said a lot of people are leaving Democrats because they don't really do anything for the Black community. And I'm like, y'all, we got to fix our language and educate people that is not the purpose and role of government. I just explained we don't want you to do anything for us. That's EBT Republican language. The problem with the Democrat Party is not that they don't do anything for the Black community. The problem is that they absolutely directly harm the Black community. Their policies are harmful. The way they govern is harmful. The way they steal your money is harmful. The way they refuse to let you educate your children and keep them in a failing school is harmful. The way the Democrat Party ideologically has decided to subvert the Black community and import all this sexual perversion, and then they celebrate it, knowing how harmful that is, hurts the Black community. They are not economically advanced enough to bring any sort of innovation to the Black community. Everything that the Democrats have done to the Black community is done by design, and to a Democrat, it is working just fine. Why? Because as long as there are problems and things that need to be fixed, you will always need them to work for you. But the moment you become self-sufficient, the moment you start leading your own house, educating your own children the way you see fit, protecting yourself using the Second Amendment, what are they going to campaign on if things actually improve and get better? If you let's say you actually pull yourself up out of poverty, who's going to advocate for the food stamps? If you like, well, I don't need food stamps anymore because I'm now gainfully employed and I'm working and my husband's working. Did I say I had a husband? Like, we got married and stuff. We started a family and we're all together under one roof. Something Democrats don't never talk about. They have no commentary on that. The problem with Democrats is not that they're not doing anything for the Black community. The problem is they've done too much. We don't want their help anymore. They've done enough. They've destroyed and decimated everything that they touch. The Congressional Black Caucus is a joke, and under their leadership, we've gone backward. They've done nothing to improve outcomes in Black America. So the question is, do we really need Black representation? No, because it hadn't gotten us anywhere. This is not about ethnicity. This is about Democrat plantation politics. They do things for the Black community. It's just everything that they do is evil and wicked. Where's the lie? Show me a Democrat that supports school choice, and I'll show you a politician that's no longer a Democrat. Misha Maynard was a Democrat here in this city who understood the importance of school choice and for parents to choose the educational outcomes that work best for their child. She was run out the party. She ain't a Democrat no more. Ideologically, she might find some agreement over there, but there was no room for someone that wanted to give you school choice. Why? I mean, that makes the teachers' unions upset. And we can't make our special interest group upset. We want your kids to be dumb and ignorant. Who else is gonna feed the school to prison pipeline if Taquayshawn ain't in jail by the time he's 14? Why do they support all of this womb assassination, giving money, taking money from Planned Parenthood, and trying to convince Black women that abortion is health care if they cared about the flourishing of the Black community? They want you to kill your baby. They've come up with not one policy to say, you know what, all these bastards raising bastards is a problem. We need to support the heteronormative nuclear family and come up with legislation that provides an incentive to keep the family together. Why would they do that? If the family's together, they would have no use. Black women would have no use to vote Democrat anymore. Why? Because the government is now their big daddy. He's the sugar daddy. He's the man that steps in when you've broken up your home, divorced your husband, and now you 65 and you need a retirement plan. That's why Democrats push that foolishness. They're not going to encourage you to stay with your husband, saying, where you think you going at 52? You leaving now? What's your plan B? Oh, let me think. You 50 and fine now, so you going to go out on the open market and get you a new man. Yeah, okay. Just making more money than the last one you had. Okay. But you 60 pounds overweight than you was when you was 25. It don't work the same, sis. It don't. Democrats will absolutely have you out here voting against your own self-interest, but they package it in a way to make you believe that you need them because they don't believe that you know how to function in your freedom. So they want to keep you as an imbecilic child, as a whole grown adult. So you'll advocate for policies that don't promote human flourishing, but keep you dependent. My mama used to have this saying that said, as long as I owe you, you'll never be broke. That's the Democrat. As long as they owe you, you know, you're going to be all right. They can keep making empty promises of policies that aren't even, the policies are trash. Name me a Democrat that supports entrepreneurship, not just with this, but with policies that incentivize you to start a business. And I'm not talking about just giving you some free money, but I'm talking about removing the regulation so that you can get you a business license. And it don't take a whole lot of, you got to auction off your child, your house, and your mom and them just to put your key in the door. Just saying. Just saying. Name an industry that they advocate. You can't. They too busy out here advocating for illegals and putting illegals in your community. So the question was wrong. And the premise was wrong. It's not, well, people are leaving the Democrats because they ain't doing nothing for the Black community. Don't come over here with that. That's an EBT Republic. Don't come over here with that mindset. That's not how this works. There's a learning curve and a worldview that you've got to learn and understand if you're going to come and play in the sandbox over here. And we're going to grill you and we will gatekeep. Because I don't have any more time to deal with individuals who can spout a few conservative talking points, but their lived experience is anything but conservative, and all they're offering is more government dependency. I don't want it.
Because right now, Republicans are doing a good job to me. This is my opinion.
No, of
Everybody
course.
got their own
Everyone has
opinion.
their own-
of-
everyone
of
has their own
who,
opinion.
What, when, where. I'm only speaking because I lived it. By me being a Democrat, and my very own is the ones that was attacking me,
Right.
and they're Democrats.
Right.
So make it make sense. And then once they got the seat, they did nothing for the people. So
And you mean the seat back home where you're
back
from?
home in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, in Illinois, yes.
So what's your thoughts?
Let me pause it right here. Okay, I wanted her to flesh that thought out. Because to me, it sounds as if her grievance and her disagreement with Democrats is personal. It's not, her criticism of Democrats is not ideological. Her critique is, my own Democrats attacked me. That's a personal grievance. Sorry, this is politics. Okay, Republicans are just as evil and wicked, and when you're running against them, they're gonna pull out all the stops because the goal is to win. Okay, so saying they was mean to me and they attacked me, that's too shallow and silly of a response for me. A person who's experienced a genuine ideological shift, it would involve some sort of criticism like the government dependency has destroyed Black America to now we don't even know how to stand on our own 2 feet without the government saying, here you go, here's a walker for you, sugar. Okay, now you take your 2 steps, mama gonna be right here. That's what government dependency. I talked about the abortion policies, all of the bureaucratic overreach, welfare expansion. These people want to give you more welfare. Now, it's not just a little bit of food stamps to get you through. It's basic government. They want universal basic income. They want to jack up the minimum wage. This is all socialism. And in addition to free college, free healthcare, now it's free childcare. So now the government is like, we'll help you raise Taquayshawn. Don't even worry about you getting married and then you and your husband in that 2-family household, along with the rest of your nuclear family, figure out a way for Tyrone to go work and maybe you stay home till Taquayshawn 5. No. We want to expand the welfare system. And now we want to provide childcare for you so that we get to catechize your children and disciple your child from age 6 weeks up until they're 18. So by the time they're 18, whatever worldview you tried to instill in them, you ain't gonna know them no more. We gonna trans them. We gonna turn your boys gay. We gonna make your women feminists. They gonna hate men to where they ain't gonna be able to attract a man. And now the Black family is going to die because the men don't want to be with women because the women want to be with other women and the men want to be with other men. Or women want to be out here freezing eggs and having babies by themselves. Do you see where their anti-family policies lead? All because they want to expand the welfare states. And I ain't even started talking about the DEI and identity politics where the Democrats are teaching Black folks that you ain't none but a victim. You was a slave, all you gonna be is a slave, and to function in your freedom, you don't even know what freedom look like. Because we ain't never let you experience it, because you a victim and all. And in order for, society to work well, we need diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right? We got to make you think that the most important thing about you is your melanin, not your skill set, not your character, not the value you add to the marketplace, but just because you Black. Some you can't even control. Like you can't even control your ethnicity, but Democrats have elevated to where it is the pinnacle of who you are. And if you don't conform to what they believe Blackness is, they will attempt to strip you of that identity. They will remind you you are Black before you're anything else. You can't even hail Christ as King above your Blackness. That's Democrats for you. She ain't mentioned none of that. Instead, the argument was more personal. It was Democrats were mean to me and what they had did to me. And I'm like, politics is messy, sis. Her dissatisfaction With Democrats, it appears transactional, but it is not ideological. Because I've not heard her mention one ideological thing yet. And it could be because she like, you know what? All I know is Democrats were bad to me. I made some mistakes in the past, and all I knew how to do was switch to the Republican side. But you right, sis, I don't know nothing about what it means to be a conservative, but I'm willing to learn. And if that's the case, you need to go and step out this race and take some time away from politics. I would hope above all things that she'd be made new in Christ Jesus and repent of her sin and place her faith in Christ alone. That's my first and only priority for her. But if the Lord doesn't do that, at least take some time away. You don't know enough about what it means to be a Republican to even run on this ticket. You don't know enough. I'm sorry. Her problem with Democrats is not that they promote abortion or that they want to expand government dependency to where we begging and whining and crying for free stuff. The problem is she doesn't understand how the implications of Democrat policies and what it's done to Black people. There's a huge disconnect there. And I know some people might be like, well, you ain't even really give her a chance to say. Well, she on the interview, the girl is asking her the questions. Why is her problem not that I've watched Democrats undermine the family structure, pushing all this gay stuff on us? We don't do that. Her problem is they attacked me personally. That is not reflective of a heart that has been philosophically or ideologically changed. It's just, I resent that, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put on a red shawl and start hanging out with some elephants. So, to me, she still speaks like a Democrat. Even while you can supposedly praise Republicans, what she says is, what are you doing for the people? She said that. And I'm like, for the people? Let's say it again. What are you doing for the people? That is classic collectivist language. We don't do that over here. True conservatives frame policy around empowering individuals to do for themselves. What will people be empowered to do for themselves once you get the heck out of the way? Because that's what it means to be a conservative for me. You getting out the way. Did you remove the artificial weights? I don't want nothing from you. Back the heck up. We want to limit government power. We want to protect liberty. You can't give us freedom. We just need you to protect it with our help, of course. Her framing is still government as provider language, and I don't like it. Her worldview is still rooted in the government solving your problems, not empowering people to solve their own problems. If you listen to the language carefully, what are people do? What are they doing for the people? That is language of a welfare state politician, EBT Republican. I rest my case. Conservatives don't ask what government will do for the people. We ask what government should stop doing to the people. You see the difference? It's a big difference.
Right now on Donald Trump's and the way his campaign is going for the United States.
Well, I think that, again, people should educate themselves before judging, because a lot of time people always judge a book by its cover. You got to open it up and read.
Right.
If you read, you will find out other truths that is not being broadcast by the fake news.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the clip. That was the whole clip that I wanted to react to. I'm not done, but the clip is finished. But essentially, her praise of Republicans, it is vague, it is non-committal, and it's Republicans are doing a good job to me, and that's my opinion. And I'm like, okay, a good job at what? Can you give us some examples? Well, what are we doing a good job at? What is Donald Trump doing well? What policies do you admire that as a Democrat you now see works better for the American people than what the Democrats are offering? She's yet to articulate which Republican policies she supports, which conservative principles that she believes in. To me, this sounds like political positioning rather than a person speaking from conviction. I'm sorry, we don't have any more room for feckless politicians who lack convictions. We done had enough of them. Okay, she can't name that one policy. I don't think she's thought deeply about this. She can't name a principle. She can't name a conservative idea. All she can say is Republicans are doing a good job. And I'm like, a good job at what? That's not ideological alignment. You just sound like a political marketer. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Democrats don't have to work very hard to earn their constituents' trust. Why? They have trained their voters, their electoral serfs, to just think very surface and to believe everything, to just have hope that they're going to do the right thing, to just believe that they mean what they say. Democrats are used to talking fast and saying nothing. Have you listened to Kamala Harris lately? Have you listened to Jasmine Crockett lately? There's no political depth to either one of those women. One of them is just a cackling hyena who is just full of word salad. And Jasmine Crockett is just a far leftist lunatic with super bad policies wrapped up in a whole bunch of orangutan energy. We don't need no more of that either. Okay? And so I had wrote down a thought and I didn't want to forget it. Let me see if I can understand my handwriting. I remember. She a fast talker. But to come over here, I mean, Donald Trump is a fast talker too, but he's a fast talker with some substance. And he was able to convince us to believe that he actually had substantive policies that would move this country forward in the right direction. Not only does she not have a verbal message that she could articulate to convince us, but she's got a proven track record of actually doing the opposite. We don't want Thanksgiving dinners and free back to school backpacks. Those are the gimmicks that Democrats use to win you to their side. And if it sounds like I'm talking very disparaging about Democrats, it's because I am. You should know enough about me to know I can't stand the ideology of the Democrat Party. And I absolutely have zero respect for the politicians over there because all they do is treat their constituents like a little side chick. And they string you along. They will lie. They'll do anything to get in your pants. And what you do, you just lay down and be like, okay. And when he get up after he finished doing his business, you just be like, so you gonna call me tomorrow? And he be like, yeah, boo, you know I'm gonna call you. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do. Now, I may not call you tomorrow, but you know I'm gonna call. Right. Y'all used to that. We don't do that over here. Okay. There's some intellectual depth that needs to be tested that I believe conservatives should put every politician through. If someone is claiming to truly be a conservative, when they actually make that change, they usually can articulate some things like, you know what? Let me explain to you what I learned as a Democrat and why socialism fails. Right? They can explain it. They usually can explain why markets, the free market that is, will outperform the government every day and twice on Sunday. They're like, you know what? I was a Democrat and then I became a small business owner. And what I had realized is that the free market can do so much more and we're so much more efficient than what the government can do. The government is clanky and sloppy and ghetto. But the free market is where excellence actually competes, right? Former Democrats who actually have an ideological mindset shift and a conviction that they believe can talk to you about why family stability matters. They can talk to you about how their family grew up as a product of the welfare state and how they probably still got members of their family that's still living off the government, and how you saw it killed their will to want to do better and to improve themselves because they got real comfortable. They can tell you those stories, and they can see how the policies didn't work, and how it wasn't until they jumped ship and abandoned that worldview and embraced something else that things started to change. That's what happened for me. I always tell my origin story is very simple. People are like, what made you embrace conservatism? I say 4 things happened to me. 1, I became a Christian. Okay, that's the first thing. I normally say that last. The first thing, though, how it actually happened in that order was I became a mama. When the Lord blessed the fruit of my womb and I had my first child, my whole worldview changed. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute. I have a whole human. I gestated a baby. Like, he grew inside me and then he came out. And he had a heartbeat, right? And he was filled with the breath of life. And now I, as his mama, am responsible for taking care of him and protecting him. And I started noticing that I was like, the world the way it is under democratic rule is not going to help me raise my child in the fear and admonition of the Lord. And I wasn't even a Christian at the time my son was born. But I had sense enough to know, I'd be like, no, these people are in my way. I can't send him to a bad school. I don't want them paying for my child care. I don't even want child care. I want to be home with my son. The second thing that happened, believe it or not, everybody got a pass. Okay, yes, I got pregnant first. Then I got married. But I got married before the baby came out. But once me and my husband got married and became parents, the world changed for us. And then shortly after becoming parents and getting married, I got pregnant, we got married, then the baby came. Like, we was married when he came out. You got to tell people that. But shortly after we had our second child and then the twins, life was lifing. The economy had tanked. Barack Obama was in office. And we were like, we got to do something. I can't have 4 kids, 4 and under, and go back and work for anybody. I said, babe, I can't do it. You got to figure something out. We got to either make some baskets and be the best basket makers there are and sell them for a good price. You got to start a business, because I was like, I can't go back to this job. I can't. I was like, we got 4 kids now. I got to raise these babies. So we started a business in a bad economy, providing a product and a service that nobody else was doing. And the Lord blessed the fruit of our hands, and we were able to keep that business for 11 years and raised our children and provided a good life for them. But I noticed when I became a small business owner that liberalism doesn't work. And I was like, all this free stuff, these darn taxes, I was like, I love capitalism, but why are Democrats always trying to crush my capitalistic spirit? I can't be great voting for Democrats. The industry I was in, I saw all of the bureaucracy and the red tape and how hard they made it. And I was like, it's almost like they don't want us to succeed. And when I went to my first we were in the furniture industry. So you have these industry trade shows. We would go to furniture market, and I was engaging with furniture owners and second and third generation business owners from all over the world. And these were white people, Syrians and Asians. And listening to them talk, I was like, oh, we've been doing this all wrong. Nobody cares that we're Black. These people care about green. And they're helping me because they care about green and I care about green. And it never occurred to them like, well, you know, she black, so we can't help her. There was no white man with his knee on our neck or putting roadblocks in our way. It was Democrats that were doing that. But so many white people helped us flourish and gave us the cheat code in how to win in our business. A Syrian helped us with the cheat code and gave us so much help in how to win in our business. And I had to do business with a whole lot of racist Asians who at the end of the day, they were like, listen, we want you to buy as much product from us as possible. What do we got to do to make you win? So don't tell me that people are oppressed because they're black. No, you oppressed because you weak and you ain't figured out how the world works and you still want to follow a socialistic paradigm in a world that flourishes best under capitalism. And I got a show coming up on that too. I ain't gonna spill the beans tonight. I recorded it earlier today. I still gotta edit it. I'll drop that tomorrow, Lord willing. But what she didn't talk about was why did the bureaucracy harms economic mobility as a Democrat? Her answers contained none of the intellectual framework that's necessary, that if she was trying to convince Republicans that she about that life, that's what we're listening for that. I want to hear your origin story. I want to know, why are you over here all of a sudden? Why are you a conservative? Why do you want to run as a Republican? I don't care that you tore your behind over there with the Democrats. I want to know why you over here. That's what I need to know. And she's not gone through the ideological transformation that most of us black conservatives have gone through. She ain't about this life, y'all. I'm telling you what I know. I can see it. Most black conservatives, you start out because you question Democrat policies and you can articulate the ones that hurt you. And you realize it was them jokers over there all along. When all of her answers suggest that she skipped all the steps, there are layers to this, lady. And you got to be willing to do the hard work and dig real deep to find your why. And at this point, I don't see a why. I see slogans and shallow and silliness. And Fulton County is in trouble enough. We don't need no more shallow and silly. This is why I call it the EBT Republican. Because all they do is they adopt the Republican label without adopting the worldview. They're not adopting the ideology that undergirds conservative philosophy. They don't know it. They ain't never heard it before. They just like, really? That's what y'all do over there? Yes, that's what we do over here. We will teach you. Come under the tutelage, but vote for you in office. That's a hard stop for me. You can't just come over here because it offered you a new political opportunity. We will gatekeep you like a mug. At least, listen, wouldn't y'all rather I be honest and I lay my cards on the table. I told y'all in my video earlier today, I absolutely am gatekeeping. That's what this is. Because I care about this city. My friends live in Fulton County. And I'm trying to change the whole trajectory of Metro Atlanta politics as it relates to the ethnic expression of the black folks who live in it. And if that means I could use my platform to wake up as many people one at a time, you go get this truth today. And when somebody shows up trying to wiggle their way into the conservative movement, not because they believe in the principles, but because they believe they found an inroad and that we are the next group that they can hustle. Yeah, come over here bearing them fake gifts and the fake ideology and trying to teach people how to beg for some more free stuff from the government. We don't do that over here. We see you coming, and I'm shutting it down. What is my final argument? Her worldview has not changed. It's just the political jersey change. That's all. That's not enough for me. Right now, what we are looking at is not a conservative conversion story. That's not what this is. What we're looking at is a shapeshifter. This is the Democrat with a red shawl on. It looked nice and pretty, but it ain't enough to convince me or other conservatives in this town that you're actually going to advocate and uphold the values that we've been upholding since the founding of this country. Her worldview has not changed. Her eyes may have been open to how Democrats move, and we're grateful for that. We celebrate that you see just how wicked and callous and trifling they are. But it ain't enough. Her philosophy hasn't changed. The convictions have not changed. They still the same. So I'm saying it out loud. Am I saying they can't change? But as of now, they haven't been tested. And until they are, Fulton County should proceed with caution. Extreme caution. With much prejudice. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm going to get to these super chats. Thank you guys so much for your support. We got all my hoes demonetized. I can't. Every time I read that. That's his name, y'all. Thank you, all my hoes are demonetized. Big Tiff is a hustler, but no match for April. Listen, it's not a fight. I'm not running for office. I have no desire to enter Georgia politics. It's not my thing. My mouth too slick for politics. Because I be done told somebody where to go and how to get there. And I still have minor children. I would not expose my family to the corruptness of politics. I'm so much more effective on the outside than the inside. To me, to go into the belly of the beast opens you up to way too much compromise. On top of the fact, there's a practical reason. And y'all gonna be like, that girl crazy. Here's my practical reason why. At my age, at the station of life I am in, I don't think politics is safe. For me, perimenopausal women we ain't got no business leading. No. We ain't stable enough. I'm sorry. I know that sounds real sexist. I'm just telling the truth. I live with me every day. Okay? 1 minute, I get an idea in my mind and I say, you know what? I want some Korean barbecue. There's nothing wrong with wanting Korean barbecue. It's the process of what I went through and the illogical way that I went through it to get it that day. Can you imagine if a super major important decision is put in front of me and it's the day when my hormones are just they not doing what they not hormoning? Y'all ain't safe. We got to wait till this passes. So maybe maybe years from now when everything is long regulated and I'm back in a homeostasis, maybe then, but not now. I'm too moody. I'm too moody and I'm too mean. And, I might be a good weapon against Democrats, but when it actually comes to fulfilling the duties, I have too much on my plate. So to be clear, there's no competition here. I'm rooting for conservatives in this town to run their races well and to empower themselves, to know the issues, to be the best class of whether you are a black conservative or not. You need to be laser focused and razor sharp on what it is that you want to implement and change. And if I can help sharpen your arguments or just make you a throat cutter, I'll do that. But I don't want to run for office. No. Because the moment they pull up something from my past, I'll be like, you know what, Skippy, I did that. You remember that time? That was funny, wasn't it? Like, I'm not about to sit here and give some sort of political response and be like, to try to explain it away. I'd be like, listen, you must not have heard my life before Christ. I was a filthy, wretched mess, but God, who was rich in mercy. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for the ungodly. So I'm part of the ungodly. I was washed and I was cleansed, and I'm not absolving myself from any of it. We can talk about it. What you want to talk? What you want to know? We can talk about it, but then I'll tell you, okay, but this is how you get free. This is how you lay your sin at the foot of the cross and go and sin no more. That's what we need to be talking about. You want to bring up my past? I'll be like, listen, have you met the Apostle Paul? I mean, I ain't met the Apostle Paul, but we read of him and know who he was before Christ saved him. Listen, there's always a story of redemption. So they listen, you can't weaponize my past against me. I'm so free in Jesus, I welcome it. I'd be like, listen, do you want the list? You want, oh, okay, because I can help you. You can build a whole campaign about it. That's how free I am. That is how free I am. So, Nate the lawyer is the man, you guys. Have y'all watched? Nate the lawyer is a fellow content creator. Shout out to you, Nate. Nate says, Henyard 2026, Fulton County will go red. Listen, sir. Y'all, I've been watching Nate the lawyer for quite some time, and he has a masterful way of telling stories. And I decided to actually cover this because I saw his video first. And so he is a wildly successful content creator here. And listen, Nate, I am chasing you from one fellow New Yorker to another. Thank you so much for this super chat. We're so grateful and appreciative for all of the judicial or legislative stories that you cover to keep us in the know. And thank you for stopping by. This is truly an honor. Y'all don't understand how we fangirl and fanboy over here. If you're a content creator and another content creator that you watch comes to your channel, it's just like you be so excited. That's me. That is me. Thank you so much. Anyway, what else did I want to say? I think that was it. I have told you guys one announcement before we go. I told you guys about the Race War screening, the documentary film that I am promoting on behalf of my friends at TPUSA Rise. The film is amazing, okay? I think I have oh no, what is this? I thought I had a graphic to show you, but I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't have one. Well, maybe I do. No, I don't. I thought I did. Oh, well. It is April 14th. If you live here in Atlanta and you want to come to the live screening of the Race War documentary, I will be there. Vince Everett Ellison will be there. Marcus Watta, the director of the film, will be there. I think Stephen David will be there. I think Virgil Walker will be there. I need to confirm who's going to be there. These are all very good friends and brothers in the Lord, but they all were featured in the film, and they are coming to Atlanta. So this is a live event at the Spring Cinema and Tap House up in Sandy Springs, April 14th at 7 p.m., but you got to register. So you need to go to tpusa.com. Lies, that's not where you need to go. You need to go to tpusarise.com, and in the upper right-hand corner on the hamburger menu, select events and events, not events. I can't talk. Select Rise events and scroll down to the April 14th Race War Tour. And when you scroll down there and you click Learn More, you can register. This is a limited seating event. So if you don't register, there's no guarantee you're going to get in, and you need to register now. Okay? Because when I'm rolling in there 7 deep. It's 7 of us in my family. We gonna we taking up the whole front row. So, if you want a seat, you need to register in advance. Speaking of which, I need to make sure I register my people. Yeah, I need to do that. Matter of fact, let me go and do that now. When I get off to here with you. Other event, oh, I know. I know. Not sure if you guys knew, but we are knee deep into season 2 of MLK Motives Unmasked. It is the film by Chad O. Jackson, my dear friend and brother in the Lord. As executive producer of that film, I want you to know that if you have not seen any of the episodes, you are missing out. Okay? If you've ever been interested in understanding why, it's not really all of a sudden, but why is it that Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement, why is it coming under so much scrutiny today? The reason why that is it's kind of like if you're on a trip and you're trying to figure out, we got lost. We don't know where we at, where we going. We don't need know what had happened, right? In order for you to figure out where you went wrong, you got to retrace your steps and you got to go back. And that is what Chad Jackson has done. This is such a well-researched, well-put-together docu-series explaining this is not a series that just talks about MLK being a hoe chaser, right? Like, everybody know that Black folks don't care. Like, we're so much grace. We be like, you can chase hoes. It's okay. We still love you, Martin, right? That's not what this is. This is us doing a deep dive and examining the communist Marxist infiltration of the civil rights movement to help people understand why is it that the Black community is so receptive to government dependence and socialism. Why are we melanated Marxists living in a capitalistic society? How does a people who put God first before all things all of a sudden is embracing an anti-God, anti-Christian worldview? Who taught us that? Who told you you were naked? Where did you learn this worldview from? And what caused you to adopt it and embrace it with so much vigor and conviction that now we're trying to pry it out of your cold hands? Like, we've been trying to strip you away and open your eyes, but you're so spiritually blind that you can't see. This film, I believe, is one of the most transformative, life-changing documentaries you'll ever watch, and it will educate you on so much. So, if you're interested in seeing the episodes, you can visit historrev.com. That's HISTORV. Let's start over. Historrev, HISTOREV.com. I don't know if it's 2 R's, but somebody type it for me, please. Y'all see I'm struggling here. My brain, I'm fizzling out. I've been on here too long. But when you go to historrev.com, you can watch it. It is behind a paywall. It is so not expensive to watch, but it is worth the investment. And lastly, I am working on a new documentary called Slavery is a Choice. We don't know if we that's probably going to be the title, but I will be asking for you guys' support in that film too. And I know that's a provocative title, and you like, she's so disrespectful saying that slavery is a choice. Don't knock it until you understand why we're saying that and the worldview that undergirds such a provocative statement. It was meant to be provocative, and it was meant to make you clutch your pearls and make you say, I know you lying. That was the point. So once we drop the trailer, hear us out, and I guarantee you're going to be like, you know what? I see what she did there. I see where they're going with that, and it's hard for me to refute this argument. And so Standard House Media, we're doing this in conjunction with VEE Productions. That's Vince Everett Ellison's um, media company. And I'm so glad to partner with him on that. Me, him, Henry Hollywood Morris. We are actively working to bring you this documentary. And if you loved Will You Go to Hell for Me, you're going to just be like, this one tops. We didn't think y'all could top it, but this one tops the cake. So just stay tuned for more information about that. I will share it with you when we finish the trailer. And other than that, you guys, I don't have anything else to say. So I love you guys with the love of the Lord. Tomorrow I'm dropping that video. I told you this the video I'm dropping tomorrow is evergreen, but it is imperative that you watch it. It is imperative that you watch it. And what I talk about is this video was inspired by a conversation that I was having with my mentor. And we were talking and we're like, how is it that, or why is it that, matter of fact, I still have the question that sparked the video. Did I write it down? Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Where did I write it? It's on one of these pieces of papers around here somewhere. At least I thought I wrote it down. Yes. The question that sparked tomorrow's video is how can we have I know y'all think we just be beating up on MLK something terrible. We do. But rightfully so. How can we have a socialist as our armor and standard bearer, yet no, was that it? Oh, let me start over. Yeah, I'm sleepy. The question was, like, why are Black people struggling economically? Why, even though we've been in this country longer than so many immigrants who've come after us, like foundational Black Americans, why is it that we struggle to gain a foothold and to experience any sort of measurable positive outcomes as it relates to our economic advancement in this country? And it's because, you guys, we've embraced a socialist as our armor bearer, and yet we're confused that we don't know how to win in a capitalist society. And the armor bearer I am talking about is Martin Luther King Jr. And in this video, I do go on to prove to you how he was absolutely a democratic socialist. And how the reason why Black folks we so jacked up now, and we got this whole collectivism, and you get to buy black and shared economics, and yet we still broke. It's because listening to him. So I did a video on it. I might finish editing it tonight, but I'm gonna drop it, and hopefully you'll tune in and watch and share it. Just hear me out first before you criticize it, because you don't even know what I'm gonna say. But if you're gonna criticize it, you need to come with a legitimate argument and not an ad hominem. But if you come with an ad hominem, I don't care. I really don't. So until next time, you guys, stand firm, stay bold, and above all else, let me not leave without acknowledging these last super chats. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Angel. Angel said, God bless you. Tiffany may be a plant. Honestly, they must really think we're stupid if she's a plant, because she's not a very good one. She's too obviously, how can I put it? I'm trying to be nice. I don't even think she's a plant. She comes with too much baggage for that to be believable. She has planted herself in Georgia politics, but I don't think she's a plant. I don't. If she is, who planted, like the Democrats? I don't know. I know my people too well. Down here in Georgia politics on the conservative side, we are not falling for the okie doke. We're not. I just, no. That's not going to happen. Maybe in another city, but not this one. Shout out to Crystal Beyond Labels. Y'all shout out and go over to her channel and follow. She is another fellow content creator who you need to keep your eye on, especially for 2028. Crystal says, sis, I said I am feeling Trojan horse with Tiffany. We love you, April. Oh, I am not going to let Fulton County down. CBL community in the building. Yeah, listen. It's not a gang. It's not a gang. We're not some sort of exclusive club. That's not it. It's just when you've been a former Democrat and you've had your worldview tested, you've been called every name under the sun, people threaten your life, talk about your family and claim that you hate yourself and you hate your race. It's like we have battle scars. We've been tested, right? Pressure will bust the pipe. Like our worldview has experienced the societal and the cultural pressure in order to purify us in a sense to where if you're still over here, you're over here because you have a deeply held conviction and you really do believe it. We don't have time for fence riders, for grifters, for opportunists, for those who want to come and exploit just on this side. No. We ain't gonna be able to do it. And so that means, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the Georgia Black Republicans. I'm speaking on behalf of me. But I feel confident in saying that those who share my worldview echo my sentiments. I feel really confident in that. Absolutely. You might have an outlier here and there. I'll give her a chance. I'll be like, yeah, we need to keep an eye on you too, because you ain't thinking straight. I'll be like, yeah, I knew I should have kept my eye on you from the beginning. I see you. Anyway, I love you guys. Y'all stand firm, stay bold. Above all else, stay unshakable, grace and peace. Okay, I thought that was my outro, but